Yo, what's going on? It's Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, Tbkc, and all that other good shit. This one right here is actually one that won the poll. It's the first time that I did a poll on here. I'm trying to figure out this whole YouTube thing, but the Razor's Edge won out, but it's actually going to be a second edition where I do talk about Gotti line. And you know, there's a bunch of things with Razor's Edge. First and foremost, I will start this video off by saying, in no way, shape, or form am I trying to throw any shade, discredit anyone. As a matter of fact, in the things that you'll hear me say here shortly, I'll be giving credit to some people and whatever, you know. But I tell y'all, you know, starting off, you know, of course, Razor's Edge, Gotti, you know, Gray Line, which Gotti derived from. And I would even say Gaff Blood, where, you know, some of the major players in the American bully world. So as we go into the Razor's Edge, you know, of course, we get to talking about Old Virginia and Dave Wilson and, you know, that area. And pretty much, of course, Dave, you know, and his ex, they were the main ones who started the Razor's Edge thing. You know, the story derives from the fact that the dogs weren't welcome at UKC shows, which is some truth to that. Of course, if you start changing the breed, your dogs won't be welcome. There's no truth to the fact that Dave got walked out of any show. That was, I think, Pratt's and Tilo and someone else. I forget who else. And that was all the way in Cali. Dave wasn't there. But long story short, with Razor's Edge, you know, I never have considered it a bloodline. Some people call it a bloodline. I call it Razor's Edge blood. And this is my reasoning, because when you start a bloodline, this is, you know, it takes generations. And not only does it take generations, it doesn't mean that you just bred for generations. Also, what it means is that you bred to a specific goal for generations, and you reach that goal a lot like we do with, say, a registry or creating a breed, you know. And the thing of it is that, yes, Dave had his moments with Razor's Edge to where he produced some incredible dogs. Dave is a very good breeder when he wants to breed. But what happened in the process is he quit breeding. You know, he quit breeding, and he had friends, you know, and today a lot of those friends are known as, you know, the original EE guys, and he had other people who played roles in it even before the EE. And like I say, this is not to discredit Dave, but this is to give you a real perspective on Razor's Edge and what it actually is. Razor's Edge blood is a real thing. Bloodline is not. Because one of the issues that you have is, if you start naming off some of the best Razor's Edge bloods that people consider Razor's Edge blood, you'll find a very, very, you know, consistent theme. Whether it's the Excalibur blood, you know, which as it, you know, Easy Rider, and, you know, you go down the line that, you know, Oscar Gomez plays a huge part with the Easy Rider blood staying alive and becoming what it's becoming, you know, and creating a legacy of great dogs with those dogs. If you look at Remy line blood, which most people define Remy as being edge, which in many ways he is an edge blood dog, but his legacy and all the breedings that come with Remy line had nothing to do with Razor's Edge. You know, it was a chunk of that went to True Tank, even when it was in regards to Remy. You know, now then if you look at, you know, Paco, although Paco is Little Row, which is a Razor's Edge dog, Paco is actually a True Tank dog. Once again, it's hard to attribute, even though you use the blood, you can't attribute it to the Razor's Edge kennel. And that's what Razor's Edge was a kennel, you know, that produced the blood that a lot of people used. Now, you know, and if you go throughout, you know, you start talking about like, what other dogs can we talk about to gain popularity? You know, I mean, even my blood with D-Line, of course, we have Razor's Edge dogs, Razor's Edge blood, let's put it that way. But you couldn't attribute everything that we've done and all the breedings that we've done and all the success we had to that being Razor's Edge bloodline. I mean, when you talk to Rock and Ruby strain, the Rock and Ruby, you know what I mean, where you had, you know, the Double S squad, you know, that really put that on the map. And when you look at it, yes, I think Ruby did come and have some of Cruz's blood, but at that time Cruz was still Bow Wow. And when you look at it, it's always clumped together as being an Edge bloodline, but this was done by another kennel, people who were a part of this kennel, and the list goes on and on and on and on of dogs that, you know, in our community we would definitely consider, oh, that's a Razor's Edge dog. Like a lot of the stuff that Carlton Pratt has out there. When you look at a lot of the dogs, you know what I mean, from Nemesis, you know, you know, that blood comes from, I think Cassidy Santos did that. You know, I'm pretty sure he did, you know, because I ended up buying a brother from a later litter of a repeat of that breeding, you know. But Nemesis is considered a Razor's Edge dog. You know, when you look at King Kamali is considered Razor's Edge, you know. But at the same time, though, Pratt's is the one who hooked that up, you know, to do that breeding to produce the dog. And as we go, you know, and some of these things I might get mixed up on because it's way too many dogs. But as we go down the line throughout the history, what you see is you see a bunch of different dogs that's all identified under one umbrella. But in reality, what it is you had a bunch of, you know, talented breeders in a lot of cases who put together great breedings using a blood that stemmed from Razor's Edge kennel. You know, that's where you get the whole term Razor's Edge blood from. But as far as Razor's Edge bloodline, it's truly nothing that exists in this. Not only does the Razor's Edge not have just one specific look, you know, it didn't have one specific intent by one kennel. This was a lot of people who took a blood who definitely had great traits to carry on that Razor's Edge look that we talk about. But, you know, in the Razor's Edge family, you had XLs, you had Standards, you had Pockets, and all together, it never came together to be anything of uniformity, where Razor's Edge itself took the blood and put together 5, 6, 7 generations of one solid look to be truly identifiable. What you had happen is strong genetic traits for one, and you had a bunch of different breeders who liked the look, but it was a collaboration to put this whole look together. And to me, the only problem I have with saying Razor's Edge bloodline is I think when you say Razor's Edge bloodline, you start to, excuse me, I worked out earlier, so I always itch after I work out. It's weird. But after you look at these things, it would be taking a great amount of credit away from a lot of very, very good kennels who put stuff together, whether it was, you know, Devil's Den, whether it was Killer Noise, you know what I mean, Grumpy's Edge. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of all of the kennels that did, you know, very good breedings and very good things. It's not to say that Razor's Edge didn't put together some nice breedings, but if you look at all those breedings, that a lot of them are attributed to other places. Even with the you know, Paco blood, a lot of times Paco blood is strictly attributed as Razor's Edge blood, where it's actually, you know, a true tank production. And Marco Suarez himself put together a lot of great things to make Paco what he was. Not only the marketing, but he did all, you know, if he didn't personally do the breedings, he was the one who looked through the pedigrees and decided to let his stud be used in order to make this. And this is what made Team Paco / you know, the Paco blood strand, or whatever you want to call it. And I have a hard time stripping people's identities away. You know, I know it may sound harsh towards what Dave and the Razor's Edge camp done, but this is just a reality. As you look at the history, not only of Razor's Edge bloodline, but of the Elite Edge, you know, and I said bloodline, but Razor's Edge blood, you just see it was a collaboration of a bunch of people to make something special. I still think that the blood is special, but I think if we're going to be realistic about it, you know, it would be better suited to be called, in a lot of cases, Elite Edge blood or Elite Edge bloodline or something of that nature, because, you know, the original base of a lot of the blood did come from Razor's Edge. But when you look at the pedigrees and you look at the breedings, you have Gotti line dogs mixed in, you have Gaff dogs mixed in, a lot of Edge dogs have Gaff blood in them. You have gray line blood. Sometimes in some cases you have regular pit bull terrier blood in some of these dogs. I mean, some of the dogs have actual game dog blood in them. It's a bunch of mixtures of everything, and this is not really the way that you make a line. When you look at dogs from any breed that do have a line, they can show you consistently, I was going for these traits, I was going for these looks. This is this generation, this is that generation, this is this generation. And you don't ever see an extreme change. And another thing you don't ever see is that it's placed out and they take credit for all of the other breedings that people did with their blood and still label it as a bloodline. So, yes, I love the Razor's Edge look. I love the Razor's Edge blood. But as far as Razor's Edge actually being a complete bloodline, it's not made it there. Someone asked me, is it ever going to make it there? I don't believe so. And the reason I don't believe so is what we see today. Now we've went in a totally different generation that doesn't even carry the look. When you look at dogs that, obviously Dave has accepted, like Mr. Beans and Magoo, who actually have some of my blood in them, and now he's pushing Demon Boy. When you look at these dogs, they are definitely not identifiable as what we know and love as edge blood. Their dogs are questionable added in there. There are questionable traits to these dogs, questionable conformation to these dogs, and a lot of issues. And, I don't mix no words, but it's just like the Razor's Edge bloodline itself, or blood. I'm going to keep saying bloodline. The Razor's Edge blood has actually been sold out in a lot of ways. The bottom line to it is that, we have people still repping it. I think Oscar Gomez is still repping hard. I love the look. My dogs are still repping it hard. I know Pratt still reps it hard. I think Ruger is a great example of what an edge dog should look like. But as this thing goes further and further, you have now the Edge family, because of what's been infiltrated in by Razor's Edge. Today we have one dog that is identifiable as the Razor's Edge look in this community. Then we have another dog that's more bulldog traits, not quite as clean, and it's based on money. It's no such thing as evolution. I've been around, Razor's Edge, and I've been around Razor's Edge bloodline for, for many a years, and there was never any talk of the blood evolving into a bulldog, just like the breed was never supposed to evolve into a bulldog. Even there's old videos where Mr. Razor's Edge himself talks about the cheeky look, the very athletic bodies, the great conformation, having the drive, things that it sounds like he may be describing a Pokemon or a Remy or something of that nature. And now here we are, dogs that can't even walk around the ring good, still having their name slapped with Razor's Edge on there. And it is what it is, man. I guess it's more about popularity. And as far as the Razor's Edge blood goes, I think it'll always be there because, like I say, a lot of good people have it. But I think the illusion that the Razor's Edge bloodline will ever be anything, it's just an illusion. It can't happen anymore. Pretty much, Dave would have to go get dogs from other people. Razor's Edge would have to breed for another 5, 6, 7 generations because he's pretty much evacuated all of the great blood that he had that made Razor's Edge, and it's always a threat that he's going to do all these great old school breedings and this and that and the other, but it's not going to happen. And it is a sad ass thing, because it was a lot of people who took pride in it, and the pride that was taken from coast to coast in Razor's Edge is a good reason why, a very, very big reason why there's an American Bully today, because believe it or not, there was a Razor's Edge before there was an American Bully. It was still called Pit Bull back in the day. And, what Razor's Edge blood meant to the game, bringing together the Elite Edge, led to what we know now today as the American Bully community and this thing that spread worldwide. So, it has its ups and it has its downs, but the truth of the matter is that it's not a bloodline, It's a cultural thing. It's a driving force in the community. It's all these different things that we can name it, but we can't name it a bloodline. Is Razor's Edge something to be proud of? I would say so. There's a lot of great dogs that came from Razor's Edge, and the blood continues to produce, but it'll never be what it was supposed to be, because for all intents and purposes, you know, it was sold out, you know, and kicked to the curb. And the only reason why it exists now is that people basically picked up and kept it moving when they let it go. But hopefully this, you know what I mean, shed a little light on my perspective on the Razor's Edge bloodline. Like I say, I still love the blood, but I don't believe it's a bloodline. I'm adamant about that, and I don't think it ever will be. But did it contribute? Big time. You know, is the Razor's Edge blood the reason that the American Bully exists today? I would say so, more so than Gotti line. So, you know, maybe I'm a little biased, but all those other things, you know what I mean, we have to take the good with the bad, man. Hopefully this video was good for y'all, man. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.